after playing around last night, I think I'm gonna go ahead and change the power on the ground to the bilge pump and then also to this live well over here. So first thing this morning, I'm gonna cut those zip ties off, take the sheathing off, so I can get to these wires there. And then I will just go ahead and run 2 new wires up to the front and then 2 new grounds to both those things, because I think those are I think they're going to be a problem later on. They're working now, but because we had to do that for the washdown and the other live well, I'm gonna go ahead and hook these 2 just to get them done and not have to worry about it. So that's what I'm starting off with today.
There always seems to be some kind of an issue on a boat, but just like all these that you've seen so far on this boat, we can teach you the skills to diagnose and fix most of them yourself, saving you a ton of money with our boaters program that you can check out at bornagainboating.com.
This has all been unuseful, and look at this. That's the fuel tank sender. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this off. I'm gonna cut a lot of this off because all we need is this pink wire here. So I'm gonna kind of cut a lot of this stuff off, or at least get it to where it's not just sitting here taking in water like that. That's all trash. But I'm gonna clean this up a little bit and just hook up my 1 pink wire to clean up the wiring down there. Bunch of stuff that I got thrown away, but other than that, yeah, I got the bilge, everything all cleaned up, looking nice. Just need to put that fitting in there to put the hose back on. Up here, I have no idea why I did this. This is pretty much a waste of time, but I just tied those on there for the wire colors, even though it means nothing. But anyway, the only thing I have left is this one right here, which is my bilge wire. So I need to run this up and put it right here. And then the only thing that we're waiting for on this panel is my navigation light. So as soon as I get that in, that switch, I can put this in. This whole dash can go in, and then we're down to only needing to install our radio. What I did here was just cut the ends off of it and then put a liquid electrical tape on there. So now all I have here is my fuel sensor wire sticking out, and that got rid of all that junk that was there. And then this will kind of keep it from getting any more stuff into here onto the plugs, because that plug is still down in the bilge. But I'm just going to let this dry, probably wrap it in electrical tape just to protect that goop, and then that'll keep any water and moisture out from getting into this plug. Put that end on there, and boom, that'll be our fuel center nice and cleaned up. Okay, got my steering pump moved up to here. I still need to fix all the hoses and stuff and get them up underneath there. I'm gonna have to cut that other piece out, but I'll get all strapped up and kind of coiled up right here to clean all this situation that's down here. I want to get all that cleaned up and all this zip tied over to this side. And then also I'm ready to put my amp on here, so I can kind of get this stuff out of the way, get this moved over. This can go over here. That's my ground cable. But here's my amp. I've unfortunately got controls over here and then the wires over here, so I'm going to stick this thing probably about same height as the back of that, just across here like this. I'm going to mount it like that. But one thing that I did do differently is I went ahead and found some spacers right here, so I can put the spacers on there, and that's going to give space behind it, so that way airflow can go behind it and help cool it. So I'm going to go ahead and hold it up here, drill my holes, and then I'll get that mounted as well. Then with both these mounted, I can clean this hose up, and then I can clean up all this wiring that goes to the amp. I'm going to put a hole right here, maybe a clamshell or something, or maybe I'll come up. Yeah, I'll probably put a hole here, and then probably put a hole here. That way my RCA cables can go right here, and then my power and all the speaker wires can come out here and boom, be right there in the middle. So I'll get both those mounted up. That's going to clean up a lot of this wiring here. All this wiring is going to get cleaned up, and then I'll be down to getting ready to install my jack plate and the power pole, or the Raptor. But still no nav light, so that's unfortunately going to sit like that for a little while longer. Oh yeah, I gotta put the radio in, so we might do the radio after the amp install. Oh yeah, that's sweet. So plenty of space back there. I mean, I probably could have used something a little bit more, but those are nice. This is enough airflow to keep this from getting hot. Plenty of space, and we're not pumping that much. I mean, like, this is literally running 500 watts on 50-watt speakers, so this is not going to be doing that much work. But now I need to send a hole through here to get my speaker wires through, as well as my power wires, and then I'll need to get my remote wire up and then bring it up with all that over to my radio. So kind of need to start. Man, I wish I could put that dash in so I could clean this up. That's like holding me back, because I really like to like move one thing and then move all the wires, but I could probably go ahead and clean up all this wiring like this, the way it's gonna sit. So I need to do that. Here's my radio wires. That just needs to come over to here. But I want to do these wires. After I do these wires, then I can do the mercury wires. And then after the mercury wires, then, you know, I've only got my GPS and VHF and stereo to wire up, and that'll be all the inside completely done. So let me, yeah, figure out how I'm gonna pop a hole right here. If I use a hole saw, I'm afraid I'm gonna cut this cloth, whatever this is. So maybe I need to find a clamshell or something to make this not look ugly when I bring these wires out. Same thing for over here, only this side only is going to get the 2 RCAs, so this is going to be a little bit less than this side, but I need to figure out how to cover these wires, because I've got, you know, 6 gauge. I got 2 6 gauge wires, a 14, and then 4 14 2s, so it's going to be a little bit tight.
So let me figure out clamshell or what I've got. Maybe I've got a rigging grommet of some sort to put on here that I could bolt down to make this look pretty. I just don't want this to look like trash. Alright, so this is what I found. I'm going to use a clamshell over here for my RCA cables. That'll be easy peasy and that'll look clean. And then over here, I'm going to take two drain scupper valves, and I'm going to take all the rubber out of it just so I can use this piece. I'll just set that right there like that. I got two of them so I can through bolt them, and then I'll put it probably right there. That'll look super clean. So now what I need to do is just go get a hole saw, and I'll send a hole through here. That's going to be I really ought to through bolt this thing on here first, and with that through bolted, then I can send the hole saw through that way, because if I try and use the hole saw, it's just going to tear up this upholstery. So I gotta find a hole saw that fits this perfectly, and then that way I can through bolt it and then hit it, so that way it'll look clean once I do this. And Jesus just showed up with our cushions. These look beautiful. Love the diamond pattern. So we're gonna go ahead and get these set up in there and get them put up in the boat.
Perfecto. Sí, a saber el ángulo que le di, si me sirvió. Perfecto.
These are looking sweet with the diamond pattern down the middle on both, and then also back here. Jesus still is going to put all the snaps on there, but this looks awesome with the center like this on both, so that way these can lift up individually. And then up here in the front, he's got all these looking sick too. This looks beautiful. He does great work. Also made one for our little cooler here. So we got a nice little cooler here, and he's got to put one here on this backrest still. But today he's just here, gonna put the snaps on here, and then we'll take all these cushions off the boat because I still got probably a week's worth of work, and it just won't stop raining. That's looking good there. Now I can run all my wires out here, boom, right to the amp. Looking beautiful. Next thing I need to do is go ahead and hit the hole right here. Not sure how I'm gonna spin this one to get this clamshell on there and cut. I might have to just put my bit on here and then take razor knife and just trace around here to get that out. And I'll probably come in probably like right here, because I need to come out and then go right here to the RCAs. That's all that's coming out of here. But I need to make this big enough for the RCA heads to get through the hole, and then once I got 3 wires in there, have 3 wires plus another RCA head to go through the hole. So we're gonna go with 1 inch. Let me go ahead while I'm here. I might as well kind of straighten up these wires, get them through here. And I've got quite a bit of extra. I wanted to have some extra, so I'll coil that up back in here and leave it down there. But at least I'll have them out through this. Also, I need to get a vacuum, kind of clean all this glass and stuff up. But yeah, this is really starting to come together in here. Okay, this is really starting to look clean in here. Got these kind of sticking out like that. I'm gonna put some tension relief on there so that way it's not like rubbing against this clamshell, but that's gonna look like that. Gonna be looking sweet. Over here I'm gonna work on this stuff, but I'm gonna get in here with the hose real quick, spray out all this fiberglass, spray all this out, and spray all that out so I can get all this junk to the back, so I can start kind of cleaning up all these wires and all this. These need to all go back into this rigging tube down here, so all that stuff needs to go in the rigging tube. These can be separated, and then that'll make all this down here look a lot cleaner, especially once I get the steering hose figured out. I just need to cut that zip tie and clean this up.
But I want to get all this fiberglass junk out of here first. That way, I mean, I'm already itching pretty bad, but I need to get it sprayed out, cleaned out. Pump's looking good, amp's looking good, and then this thing's going to cover this all up. So yeah, this is starting to look clean in here. Okay, it's not looking, doesn't look that great, but it really is. My steering hose is coiled up, my steering control, the power and the sensing wire, that's straight, and then here's just the rest of the rigging kind of drooping down. Steering hose is going to the back, and then also the speaker wires. I didn't strap any of that stuff down because it's not really necessary, but yep, this is looking pretty good. That wall is pretty much ready to go back, but I do need to run two more things from the back, being our jack plate controller and our Raptor controller, unless they're wireless. If they're wireless, then we're good to go, but if they need to be wired, I need to pull them there. Here's my string, so let me go ahead and wire up my amp, get that done. That's ready. Once I get this wired up, then I can go ahead, make the stereo, put that in, and then kind of clean up all this wiring here, get that straightened out. Once that's straightened out, then boom, I'm ready to work on my Mercury rigging, and then we'll be done in here, ready to put that jack plate on. Looking beautiful in here. All that's looking fresh. That's looking good too. So now I'm gonna start in on this. I just kind of started putting zip ties on here to clip this up together, get it, you know, in one nice bundle. And then I'm trying to decipher what exactly is going on here. I've got this ground that's kind of like strapped over this, it looks like, and then it goes around that, which these are our power going in. So let me do something with all that. And I'm gonna just clean up this wiring so that way I can kind of get this strapped up here, and then once that's strapped up there, I'll be able to then work on my Mercury stuff. I've got a couple of grounds here that are questionable, that needs to be worked on. It's all loose, so yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna clean up this wiring, then we'll work on the Mercury wiring, then we'll put our stereo in. Yeah, these are looking beautiful. Look at this. Yeah, this looks just really clean. Oh yeah, awesome. So, and then this closes up right, no issues. Beautiful. Same thing for here, beautiful. Comes back and forth. Up in the front, that looks awesome. This boat's gonna look so clean. I almost did wish we put like something there, like a different color, but this looks phenomenal. Then the cooler's looking good. Cooler seat's looking good. Now he's still got to go get this one, but we want to put a track here so it slides in. Basically the same thing that we got back here. So we got this track where the cushion slides in. So we got to get one of those tracks to put the front cushion up here in, so it'll be that track and then the four snaps. So it is still looking like rain, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go wash my hands, take all these cushions out of the boat, and I want to take them inside so that way they don't just get filthy whenever we start wet sanding and cleaning everything. And I still got to figure out something with this rub rail. I really am probably gonna have to change this rub rail. I don't want to, I don't think I have the time to, but it's kind of looking like that. This thing is
bad. It's trashed. So let me pull all these cushions off and get them inside. Got my piece of starboard here. I'm just gonna use the router here, route the corners, and then once I hit the corners up, then I'll route all around the edges. Then we can cut this thing out, pop the stereo in there, and we can stick this thing in the boat and hook it up to our amp. Swing. Yeah, that's looking great. If I stick it up here for you, drop the radio. Look at this gasket, man. They put the gasket in there and it's all torn up. Like, I can't believe that, but yeah, this looks awesome. So go put this in the boat, make sure it's gonna fit right. We'll be good. Oh yeah, that's looking real good. I gotta countersink these, and then that one was just a little bit off. It's the old hole that's there, moving that one over, but other than that, this looks beautiful. So I didn't realize that the 210s didn't come with a sun cover. I could have swore that all the colored screens do, but so if you buy a Fusion and you don't get something more than a 210, then you got to buy a sun cover separate. So I need to order that. But yeah, I got to get a countersink bit so I can sink these, but this is looking fresh. Dash is looking really good. So now let me go ahead and hook this thing up, and I can kind of clean up the rest of this wire in here now that I got the radio in. This is where it's starting to come together. I went ahead and put some hoses up there, some clamps to put all these wires up there, and then I ran them across the top here for the VHF and for my power for the VHF, as well as the antenna wire. So that goes all the way across there, so that way all this is going to be clean when we open it up in here towards the inside of it. So all these wires are going to be over here tucked away, so it's going to be wide open, really clean looking. And then when we put the dash in, it's still able to pull it in, pull it out, because it still access this fuse. I might have to give a little bit more wire for my ground. Tuck that in there like that to get to that block right there. But I think for the most part, I'm pretty well set up. So I mean, it's just zip ties holding stuff on. So if I need to move a little bit or take a little bit away, this is gonna look really clean. Boom. Everything's buttoned up, nice, neat, ready for the dash to be popped in. J-box here. I need to put a terminator resistor on here, but other than that, there was no really good spot to put this. That's probably why it was just dangling there, because someone cut the zip ties. I thought about putting it here, like, you know, taking that, putting it there. The distance for this was a little bit far away, so I opted for the zip ties. That looks pretty good, but other than that, everything else is really in place. I even got the here's my power wires for the stereo. Those will be over here like this, looking good. Amp wire coming up over there. I just need to zip tie it. This I need to put an end on here, so this one just needs the PL259 connector. I'll go ahead and put this on before the end of the night, and then I won't solder it tonight because I don't have my solder gun. But other than that, we're pretty much good with the wiring. Before I leave, I'll probably clean up a little bit more before I leave, and then I will open up my jack plate and the Raptor just to kind of see what it is and what kind of wiring, because if I don't need to pull any more wires for the jack plate or the power pole, then I can put this whole section back together. This wall can go up and we'll be completely done down here. I got the string. I'm just gonna run it up here, probably tie it to this right there so that way people can see it. But that'll, for the most part, close this off, with the exception of my countersinking of these screws for the radio. It does have NEMA capability, but I don't have anything, and I do not have an antenna on there. Not sure where my antenna is. I thought I bought one, but maybe I didn't. Maybe it got lost somewhere, so I'll get one. I'm just going to get one that sticks back here, so it'll kind of pull out here, and I'll just zip tie it to something because it's just going to be a hideaway antenna. Yeah, this is looking clean. Still gotta figure out something to do with that. I don't know how I'm gonna stick that back on. I might even have to put a screw in it right there. Just put one screw there just to get it into place and I could seal it. Yeah, I might take that screw out, put this thing down, or actually probably up here would be better. Set one screw right there just to stick it. Inside here is looking really good. I got this end on here. I have not soldered it yet, but that's all good. Amps in, steering pumps in. This is looking really clean in here. So next tomorrow we'll just start in probably on the jack plate. Come in the morning, pull that steering cylinder off, pull the engine off, put the jack plate on, and then after the jack plate's on we can put the Raptor on. Once the Raptor's on, we'll wire those up, and I think I'll be pretty much, I'll countersink these, stick these, so we'll basically punch list everything out, and we can start wet sanding. We're going to have to wet sand this entire boat. Once it's all wet sand, the horn, I'm still waiting on the horn, still waiting on the latches. So that's two issues that I got. That back to that issue with the parts. Oh shoot, and still don't have those things there. Those things, gotta pull that chain out of here, clean this all up. That chain has definitely seen better days. I mean, it looks good there, but what happened there? So that'll probably have to either get replaced or figure out what to do with that. Other than that, nav lights will have to go on, anchor light's gonna go on, but besides that, this whole boat's gonna look like this. This is beautiful. But that's it for tonight. We'll see you in the morning.